Cool. So I'm gonna get his permission before I show him on camera. Hi, I was wondering if I could interview. I'm not going to show you on camera until, but I just want to gather some information from you guys because I see you guys out here every Saturday. Every Saturday. Is it always the same two gentlemen?
Excuse. What is that, bro?
This is an aborted baby.
Oh, that's what that is?
Yeah. First 3 months of pregnancy, this baby was killed.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you because I can't read your your captions when I'm driving past. But we were curious if these were depicting, if any of your pictures were depicting photographs of abortions that are no longer legal, or if every picture that you're showing is actually what's considered legal in this area right now. You know what I mean?
To be honest,
obviously,
I'm not sure of the method in a lot of these. We've got some that show first, some that show third. I'm not sure if we have second. We probably do. But to be honest, I personally am not too familiar with all the methods on a lot of these. I know a guy you can talk to down there in the black shirt, though. He's kind of the guy who organizes this. He knows more about. He's the one who actually bought the pictures and stuff like that.
Gotcha. So, this is another thing that we're curious about, is if you're protesting something specific, like an actual clinic that's being built in Ypsilanti, or if there's an actual law that's changing in Ypsilanti, or if you're just protesting abortion in general.
Our goal is, I'm sure, multifaceted. We want, first of all, Dr. Alexander, who is on that block right there, to be gone.
Okay, so you actually are, okay.
That's one of our goals.
How far away is he? On this block right here?
See the building with the purple awning? On the left-hand side there?
Yeah. Next.
The building just beyond that, the blue one with the paint coming off the bricks.
Gotcha.
He's the first or second door on the left there. I think the first door on the left of that building.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that makes sense, and your vicinity is relevant too.
That's why we're located here, but even if he wasn't here, I still want abortion to end, because I think it's a mistaken approach to solving what's considered a problem, I guess.
Gotcha. I'm sorry, I have to pull out my list of questions.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I don't want you to think that I'm attacking you or anything. I'm just trying to gather some information, you know?
I'm here to express this point of view, so I have no problem at all. Go ahead, Adam.
So, okay, back
What's
to...
your name?
I'm Becca.
I'm Matt.
Good to meet you.
Becca?
Becca,
okay.
Yep. And actually this video is going to be broadcast to the world on YouTube. I don't profit from it in any way, shape, or form. We're hosting a world discussion. So, and for some reason, like, my videos of you guys at one point in time caught some attention, and so there's like,
wow.
So like we're talking about Ypsilanti specific issues. So that's kind of cool. The effects of your signs, what do you think they are on children and women who've had abortions in the past?
Well,
I mean, do you think that
we often have discussions on those two various things because it's hard to say for sure what the effects are. We're not dead inside. I mean, we're holding these signs up here. We know that they're graphic.
Right.
That's part of the reason we're using them, because we think they portray most accurately the truth of the situation, and we do understand that in some cases that might affect children, or certainly women who have had abortions, because honestly maybe it'll trigger feelings of guilt or something similar to that in them. We're not here to offend anybody. We just want them to see the truth as it is so that they can respond appropriately.
Gotcha.
So for the most part, these images are for adults. You know, the adults driving the cars that perhaps sometimes on occasion have kids in them.
Right.
In all honesty, most of the people that pass by, even friends of ours who are women with children, kids in strollers, and other kids 5, 6 years old, very rarely, if ever, in fact, I don't know that I've ever noticed any visible signs shown by those children that they're negatively affected by these images. Often they look at it and say, hey mom, what's that? Or hey mom, it's a baby, you know, or why does the baby look like that, or stuff like that. But no crying, no screaming, no running away with their eyes covered. I mean, no obvious
Right, and you're one of the people who are out here every weekend.
Yeah, I'm out here every week, so I mean, we're definitely open to the fact that maybe there's a better method than this.
Right, that's what originally spurred our discussion.
Certainly other methods need to be done also. This is just one way of approaching the situation.
Very much so.
We think this is necessary also. Even if he leaves, we still want abortion to not be legal, because we don't think killing of innocent babies should be legal. That's what we feel abortion is. It is a human being. I mean, it's got arms and legs, and you know, it's not just a mass of innate flesh, you know, like some skin cells or something that a person does not reside in.
I see your point. So you don't think that you've seen any ill effects from people who actually... Because, I mean, obviously people are going to get upset, you know. I mean, I'm sure you get harassed a lot.
Every 10th car that goes by.
Yeah, that was my question.
And I understand they're going to do that. And I don't necessarily think that it's because what we're doing is wrong. It's because this stirs up something in them.
Right.
Now the question is, does it stir up something, because they have the right perspective or because they have the wrong perspective? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Interesting way of looking at it.
We have lots of people also that drive by and say, way to go, keep up the good work. We know this abortion shit ends. We know it's an evil. Thanks for doing that, guys. We don't have time to get out here, but thanks for doing this.
But you get more negative comments than positive comments, you'd think? I would think. I don't know. I'm just checking.
I would say 8 out of 10 cars don't say anything. Most people drive by, like these folks, they might see the signs, but they don't say anything. 90%, 80%, I don't know, most people. Very few give positive responses. Somewhere in between the two, there's a number of people that give negative responses.
Have you ever been, like, threatened physically, or besides verbal harassment? Do you feel that you...
A friend of mine has been pushed. I've had rocks thrown at me. We've had eggs thrown at us. Actually, somebody threatened to throw a negative baby that was held by one of our friends on the sidewalk there. People come up, kick the sign. Sometimes it'll hit one of us in the face. Or somebody threw a bottle that was half full of some liquid driving down the road at 40 miles an hour to hit the sign. Fortunately, I was holding a sign that was just up to my chin, and it hit about 6 inches below my chin. So the sign ended up catching it instead of...
Right.
Yeah, I'd say fairly regularly, several times a month, those kind of things happen.
I have, like, the list.
I'm here because of this issue.
Right, well, obviously. I didn't think that you would be upset, but I didn't want to show you on camera without your permission first,
Well, thanks for considering.
So, why do you think that people are pro-choice then? And what do you think makes people who are pro-choice different from people who are pro-life? And I use the pro terms for both.
Right. First of all, the term pro-choice I have a little difficulty with because, first of all, there's 3 people involved in the choice of having a baby, the man, the woman, and then the baby that's going to be born. And when 2 of the 3 aren't consulted, or maybe they're consulted, but the woman makes the choice on her own, maybe sometimes going against the will of the man and certainly against the will of the baby who would otherwise be alive, I think calling it pro-choice is kind of misleading. That's what I'll say first of all. Second of all, I'm sure there's multiple reasons why people have abortions. Sometimes maybe somebody got pregnant too young, is afraid to have the baby. Maybe they've got hopes for a career or something like that. It seems like an easy way out. There's probably easy ways of justifying that it's not fully human, it's just... it's not fully developed yet, and it's not really gonna... Why should it live if it doesn't have all of its needs met? Is something I often hear, if I can't take care of my baby, why should it live and starve or be malnourished or something like that? Other times, I'm sure women are probably pressured into having abortions, maybe by their boyfriend or something like that. Maybe they threaten them physically and they're scared. Sometimes they might even be raped and think that killing the baby is the solution to having long-term emotional difficulties, but honestly, I think killing their baby is only going to worsen the situation for them.
Well, a lot of people who are pro-choice have never had an abortion and probably never will.
Sure.
So what do you think that sets them apart from people who are pro-choice or pro-life? And I use the word pro for both just because I want to be as impartial as possible.
Right. Well, that's very... I'm glad you asked that because I think that's the majority of abortion supporters.
Right.
It's people who've never had one. Even guys, like a guy who just drove down the road and said, "Hey, buddy, have you ever been pregnant?" And the truth is no, but I don't.
But have you ever been?
You don't have to be pregnant to know that killing an innocent human being is wrong. But as far as folks who don't have an abortion, like some male friends of mine even who are in support of it, to be honest, I think it's more of a hallmark issue that to people represents something larger. People these days want to be able to do whatever they want, kind of with no consequences, or not having anybody tell them that there's a right and wrong and things of that nature. People want to be unhindered in their ability to kind of do what they feel like.
So it's a loss of morals, sort of.
I guess I'd have to say it's because there's less of a sense of concrete right and wrong these days, and so people can kind of justify to themselves what they want, and if it's convenient for the moment or seems like a short-term fix, then they'll probably, support it. And I think, again, back to a friend of mine who is in support of abortion, though he's a male and he'll never have one. To him, it's probably representative of losing that freedom. You know what I mean? To have somebody else going around saying that this is wrong and you can't do this, even though he's a male and he'll never have to do it anyway, he doesn't want to hear that something is wrong that he can't do, kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's probably a vague way of stating it, but I think there's some degree of that going on in our society right now, to be honest.
And I noticed, like, in this whole, like, conversation that you've not really once mentioned God or anything. Are you a religious person, or do you feel that your religion causes you to feel this way, or?
I'd say it's because of the truth that I'm out here, and, you know, truth is tied in with my faith. I think truth is evident in creation. I mean, I call it creation because I believe God created it. I don't think the Lord was passing on its own. But in whatever is existing now, I think there's truth. There's truths about the way the world functions. There's truths about the way humans relate. There's truths about the way we interrelate that are obvious based on our physical makeup and things like that. You know, males and females and, you know, various other things like that. Certain personality traits and ways we have of expressing ourselves. I mean, there's certain things you can pick up just by looking at the world around us. About the way things work and about what the truth is, you know. I think there is a concrete truth, and I think, you know, the faith that I believe in is the best representation of that truth in the world. I think there's truths revealed in many faiths, or present in many faiths, but I do believe that my faith is the best representation of the truth as far as man can perceive it. Yeah, it is an important part.
Cool. Okay. And the last two questions are like so off the wall, but people have thrown them in. Do you eat meat?
I do, and there's some kinds of meat I cut out because I think it's less healthy, but not because of wanting to protect animals necessarily or anything like that. I don't want to see animals harshly treated. You know, there's just no reason for it. But I think animals are made for many purposes, but one of them is to be eaten by man. And so
I'm trying not to open cans of worms. I'm just trying to. We're trying to get an exploratory. Right. Yeah. And then the second question is, do you support the war in Iraq? You can just say yes or no. I mean,
well, the truth is, I wonder.
It's a hard yes or no question.
It is a hard yes or no because I can appreciate. I honestly feel like Bush has, as a president, I think his presidency is tied into this question. That's why I'm referring to him.
Okay.
I think he's more of a principled individual than some others. You know, like maybe John Kerry or some other guys who kind of seem to go with the flow of whatever's popular or however they can get, you know, mass appeal or whatever. I think Bush seems more principled and kind of, as best as he can tell, however flawed it may be, coming to a decision and trying to stick to it for whatever reasons makes sense to him. And to be honest, I don't know all that happens behind closed doors, so I find it hard to know what's really going on in American politics these days. I hope that the war in Iraq was really done for good reasons, not just for making money off oil. Maybe it was done partly for that, I don't know. But I think maybe it's better we attack the terrorists on their own soil than here.
Okay.
That's about all I can think of to say about it.
I think the reason why we were making that association.
How those decisions are made. I mean, I don't know if it's being done for the right reasons. Whether it should be done or not, is a separate issue. You know what I mean? Maybe it should be done, but it's done for the wrong reasons. Maybe it should be done, but it's done for the right reasons. Maybe it shouldn't be done, but it's done with good intentions. Maybe it shouldn't be done, and it's done with wrong intentions. You know, so there's kind of four possibilities there, and I'm not sure which falls in.
Right. Okay, so because the reason I guess is because they use similar scare tactics, or emotion ladled
to convince people
diagrams,
to support the war,
exactly,
like
propaganda.
Yeah, you might be right.
And also,
the
animal rights activists
being pushed a little too far, you know, I mean, as a justification for doing a lot of things, again, that's something I'm not certain of because I'm not entirely sure what the government's doing. I mean, all we hear is what the media tells us, and I'm sure most of them are biased one way or the other too.
Well, that's why I'm doing this media. I mean,
I kind of feel agnostic when it comes to the government and what they're doing. I hope they're doing the right things for the right reasons, but I think we're fortunate enough that we can live comfortable lives and still be detached from making the decisions that they make for us. I think that's a benefit of America, but at the same time, we don't know what's going on all the time because other people are making decisions for us. So
right.
It's kind of a
And that kind of
pluses
spins
and
back
minuses
around
there.
to this whole issue of people making a decision for me.
Yeah.
Or me being a woman as opposed to you being a man, you know?
Yeah.
Somebody saying that I can or cannot. It's all about who's making the decision
back to the
sometimes.
truth thing, you know, the reason I'm out here isn't because this isn't my idea that it's wrong. You know, there's other things that I want to do that are wrong. Okay, this is my belief based on what I believe is true and what my faith, which I believe it tells me, is that there's other things that I want to do that are wrong. You know, but I refrain from doing them because ultimately, despite maybe an immediate desire for gratification that might come from doing that thing, let's say, I know that it's better for me long term, and even in the present moment, to not do these things that are wrong for me. You know, I believe God tells us what's right and wrong for us, and He tells us not to do certain things because it's better for us not to do them.
I like how real you are, honestly, because like I don't feel that you've been spewing, you know.
The 10 Commandments, for example, are for us, so that we can live a life in a way that makes us happy and that is in alignment with how we're made to live. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to. I mean, this isn't, you know, I'm here to be a vehicle for what I believe is true. This isn't, I didn't generate the idea that abortion is wrong. I think it's wrong because what I know to be true tells me that it's wrong. See what I mean?
Gotcha.
So I perceive the truth as best as I can, and then based on what I perceive, I'm trying to spread that so that others can also perceive that truth. So that's essentially what it comes down to. I mean, I'm not really generating any new ideas. There were people who thought abortion was wrong before I came along. So,
right.
Yeah.
I appreciate you letting me,
you
know,
it's not that I haven't thought through it either. You know, it's not that I'm just a dummy and someone else is telling me to stand here and I'm saying, okay, I'll stand here. You know,
right.
I understand the issue well enough. I understand, I believe, human nature and all those other things well enough to know that yes, this is wrong. And it's not my place to make choices for any woman or any man or anybody else. But what I believe about God is that once He helps us to understand the truth, we have some responsibility to share it with others so that they also can be free, which is what the truth allows us to do, to live in the right way. You know, I'm able to know the truth, which isn't any merit to myself. I mean, I stumbled across it or God showed it to me, and so then I've got to go forth and try and help other people to see the truth, so that they can also share with others and live a life that's free from, you know, from wrongdoing and sin and pain and those kind of things too.
Do you have a different picture on the other side?
This one actually has the same picture on both sides.
Ah, I see.
Right.
And his sign is a different picture, so I might want to go across the street.
Yeah. So
close up of that. Go to YouTube.com and type in.
The band?
No, YouTube.
Oh, YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me stop.